This is the download from Sounds Profitable, your daily source for the essential news in the business of podcasting. I'm Gavin Gaddis. Here's what you need to know for today, Thursday, January 22nd. First up, what would you do if you actually loved podcasting? After years of researching what drives podcaster burnout, Tom Webster argues there's a common methodology that needs to be reversed. Most people in the podcast development cycle chart out things with core words behind the steps they take. You've got what, how, why, who. A system that should be reversed so that it starts with who you want to make content for. Not a mythologized audience built from data, mind you, as an individual podcaster has the superpower of actually being able to choose one specific person they can cater to. Why would that person listen to this hypothetical podcast? How should it be formatted for them? At that point, the what should go in the episodes themselves is largely an automated process because the steps have already been taken to figure out the show's audience, what they want, and what format best fits their needs. If a producer podcasts like they love podcasting, they would innately desire to know their audience, connect with them, engage with them, understand what they want from a podcast. A process that, if done right, creates an endless font of ideas and creative fulfillment that feasibly could stave off burnout indefinitely. Next up, Call Her Daddy, Crime Junkie, Pod Save America up for Best Podcast at 2026 Ambies Awards. Now that we've calmed down from the excitement that Delroy Lindo finally got an Oscar nomination, it's Podcast Awards time. This year, the Ambies from the Podcast Academy will be presented at On Air Fest the night of February 23rd in Williamsburg, Brooklyn. The Academy has 32 categories to judge this year, with the full list of nominees being provided in a linked Hollywood Reporter piece. Categories that include Best Ad Read and Podcast Advertisers Innovator Award, both of which are sponsored by Sounds Profitable this year. Netflix is rebuilding its app to own more of the day. Netflix may be big, but they're not daily driver app for most users. Reportedly, the company is testing out an updated version of the app with a focus on vertical video feeds and short-form clips to get users scrolling similarly to TikTok and YouTube Shorts, a mindset that dovetails naturally into their recent video podcasting investment, as an in-house vertical feed acts as an advertising engine to drive people to full episodes, especially when those compelling clips of the larger episode are natively in the same app as said full episode, instead of a short-form social media platform that requires the user to back out of the clip, search the podcast name, and then commit to watching it. Finally, Oxford Road finds that mental health dominates fitness in podcast ad performance. The new Orbit Top 15 looks at top-performing self-improvement podcasts using $1.6 billion in campaign data spend across 500 advertisers. New Year's resolutions means January is a big month in the world of fitness advertising, but Oxford Road zoomed out to a year's worth of data to see where listeners' interests actually lie when it comes to self-improvement. Key findings include the idea mental health is a steady performer year-round, resisting the end of January slump that gym and diet ads receive once resolution energy burns off. Health and fitness podcasts prove to be 8 times more volatile than shows focusing on mental health, with big wins being equally punctuated with big misses. The findings suggest building a safe base layer of investing in mental health podcasts to advertise on before you splurge on a few riskier fitness podcasts, with, of course, strict proof of performance expectations on those fitness podcasts before you scale into those more experimental investments. As for the rest of the news, Vox Topica has a new article breaking down how mission-driven organizations can use podcasts to build trust and teach complex issues, featuring 3 case studies of podcasts developed for organizations and the resulting impact. Stream Guys have expanded their executive team with the addition of Dara Calvort as VP of Digital Sales and Strategy, as well as promoting Eduardo Martinez to EVP of Technology. Speaking of hires, Emmy Award-winning producer Winnie Dunbar has just joined Flight Study as guest and research developer. Acast and Barometer have teamed up to launch an integration that enables pre-bid targeting at an episode level. The new feature is now live across all of Acast podcast inventory. Podcast One has signed a multi-year AI partnership with Listener.com, a move expected to streamline operations and enhance monetization performance. Spotify has a new blog from product director Francis McNamara about how the company is building a human-centered discovery for podcast listening. And finally, Podcast Nation has launched How We Got Away with Murder, a How to Get Away with Murder rewatch podcast hosted by actors Jack Falahi and Matt McGorry. Reminder, the one link in your podcast show notes will take you to today's episode post, which has links to every single story I just mentioned. You can also subscribe to the newsletter version of the download so that next issue arrives directly to your inbox with all the links your heart could desire. The download is written and produced by myself, Brian Barletta, and Tom Webster. For Sounds Profitable, I'm Gavin Gaddis, and I'll see you tomorrow morning with the download recap.